Hey, what's going on everyone? Hux21 here, back with another Splinterlands video. So I teased this video a little bit previously. This is going to be the 5 things I would currently change about Splinterlands. A lot of these are going to be gameplay based, some are going to be mechanic based. We're going to get through them all. A lot of good things have been happening in Splinterland. I've been very complimentary. I think they've been making some great decisions. I'm very happy with the progress. So it's time to complain. This is all in good fun. I don't think any of this is like really bad, needs to be changed things. I would call them more annoyances. So I'm gonna go 5 through 1, with 1 being my least favorite thing I would change, so the thing I want changed the most. And while I talk about this in the background, I'm just gonna play some of my most recent battles. All my most recent wins, of course. I'm not gonna show you any losses, I don't do that here. Okay, coming in at number 5 is a smaller gameplay mechanic thing. And that has to do with the Shatter ability. So I've complained about Shatter before. Also, this is me beating Kitty, so pay attention. I've complained about Shatter before. Part of my complaint is that outside of Shatter magic monsters, a lot of times when you hit a monster, you do a ton of damage to their shield and then shatter them. So there are a lot of times where you've already eliminated all of the shield and then shattered. So if you don't actually shatter, it means absolutely nothing. Or maybe they have a shield left, which, don't get me wrong, getting rid of that 1 extra shield could be huge. It's just, to me, the ability doesn't have enough upside to it. And I think I have a way, at least a small fix I would implement to change that. And that would be, I don't think Shatter should be able to be repaired. If you shatter a monster, right, and when I think about Shatter, to me, what that sounds like is I've completely ruined their shield. It should not be able to be brought back, right? If you're shattering someone's armor, someone with a little hammer, as is the repair logo, shouldn't be able to, pick up the pieces and put that together that quickly. I think that should be a more permanent thing. Maybe a shatter can be cleansed, which would then lead to a repair. I think that could make sense to maybe balance it out. But the fact that you can shatter someone's armor, and then the following, depending on how the speed goes, the next monster, if it's a repair, could then just put the repair right back. So I already don't like the Shatter ability, again, outside of magic monsters, as I explained, because, a lot of times you're eliminating the shield, or a lot of the shield, and so the Shatter doesn't matter, or it just gets repaired right back. So if it was up to me, I would make Shatter unable to be repaired. So that's number 5. Number 4, and this is a little precursor to one of the future ones, the ones lower on the list, is ties don't end win streaks. So there are 2 main ways that someone will tie. I would say 3, 2 main ways. There's a third kind of like less common one, but the first, the one at least that's happened to me the most, is in fatigue. So you see this a lot with like Bakjira, or even like Almo at the end, in like poison rule sets or something, where fatigue will eliminate both monsters in the same round, and that leads to a tie. The second one, at least most common from my perspective, is you put out the same lineup as your opponent. It doesn't happen all the time, but there are a lot of situations, specifically in low mana matches, and sometimes the choices in terms of splinters is limited, where there's not that many plays and you end up playing the same lineup as your opponent. And that leads to a tie, which I do like that leads to a tie. My problem is that shouldn't end your win streak. Again, I don't want to get too deep into it because this is going to be part of one of the future ones. But this game is very win streak based. And the fact that you cannot lose and still get your win streak wrecked while also wasting an energy. I don't have a problem with it, you wasting an energy. It's more so, having a tie is almost like a loss if you're in the middle of a win streak. So to me, I think they should count a tie, you lose the energy, but you maintain your win streak. That's just my personal opinion. I think that would make more sense. Okay, number 3. Number 3 is one that I know a lot of other people feel. Specifically, I've heard Brave Tofu talk about it, the person who made Splinter Guides to site with me, or Splinter Guides to site with me. To decrease the amount of, I should say the frequency of low mana matches and the frequency of the matches where you only have one attack type. And I think there's a couple reasons for this. First, Splinterlands is an amazing game. There's a ton of different combinations and strategies to run. The more limited you make the rule sets, the less creativity you have as a player. The less interesting lineups you can put out. The less cards that are available for you. I'm not saying they shouldn't have low mana matches. They should, because you need to have a well-rounded deck. You can't just have all of the massive mana monsters. I understand that you need your Pelacor Conjurer for 2 mana. I get it. And I get why you want to give value to those, lower mana cards. I'm just talking about the frequency. Splinterlands is an amazing game that has tons of abilities, tons of combinations. And so when I'm getting 13 mana archery only matches, that just really takes away from what is otherwise a really, really, fun and challenging gaming experience. The second reason, I would say, is because it creates a more unbalanced playing field. So, we've had magic only and ranged only for a while now. And as you guys probably know, there's a specific set of cards that you need to have in order to be competitive in those rule sets. So one of the great things about Splinterlands is that, based on the mana size and based on all the different types of rule sets that exist, you're going to have a chance, if you play the right combination of things, in a decent amount of matches. Now, that's not always true, right? Sometimes, and this kind of plays in my point, if you get a 14 mana match and Earth is there, and your opponent brings out a Llama and the Pelacor Mercenary, you probably don't have a chance if you can't match that, right? The more matches where there's sort of like a trump card, for lack of a better term, that takes away from the game, right? If it's not possible for you to come up with a better strategy unless you have one specific card, that's not a fun gameplay experience. What if you're on a big win streak and all of a sudden, you get a 12 mana match with poison, with whatever, where you don't have that one specific card that you need to win that match. There's nothing really you can do. And I guess the answer is go buy that one individual card, but there's tons of instances like that. So overall, I would just like to see a decrease in those things. And so to me, that means less frequency of the really low mana. I would like to see mostly a minimum of like 30, like what we have here. You can put out some really creative lineups with 30 mana. But we're talking 12 to 20 mana. It really limits you, and it leads to more cheese in the sense that like the people who have a specific card win and the people that don't lose. All right, so we are down to the top 2 things I would change, or the things I would change the most. Before we get into that, just again, I am Hawks21. If you like Splinterlands content, you've come to the right place. And if you made it this far and you aren't subscribed, can you do that for me? I would really appreciate it. I make this content for you guys, and all you have to do to show me that you appreciate it is hit that subscribe button. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Okay, this one's a really fun one. Pay attention to this battle. I get a super Chaos Dragon here that's really, really fun to use. Okay, so number 2. And it wasn't always like this. So this was a change because of a bot incident that I'll get into. But as a content creator, it is really frustrating the lack of information you get pre-battle. So let's just start back in the day. Back in the day, you used to get the person's rating. You even got the person's account name before you battled. And that led to some really cool content, right? If I knew I was going against Bulldog, if I knew I was going against Infidel, if I knew I was going against Tails in a match, I might try something cool. I might try something interesting. Or I have a case of this playing against Bulldog. Bulldog used to crush me on a specific strategy where he would play the Desert Dragon and the Mycelic Slip Spawn on the Earth team in the last position. And the Desert Dragon would just run through your front line as you were too busy trying to eliminate the Slip Spawn. He had got me with that, and he played it a lot in his videos. Where one time before the change, I matched up with him. I predicted that that would happen. And I set up a counter, right? That was me watching Bulldog, being a fan, knowing how he likes to play, and then being able to build something off of that. That is really great for competitive gameplay, right? So, for example, if you've watched my videos at this point, you know I love playing Izzy R. Like right here. Look at this Chaos Dragon that I built. 8 damage. You know, here, maybe you play Yasik, right? You don't want to attack my Izzy R. You want to attack the other monsters. You know I'm going to play it. But unfortunately, you have no way of knowing that I'm the one you're playing. So the reason why they did this was because back in the day, there were bots that could, based on your account information and the cards you had, basically like Xbot would spit out the best lineup, right? They could predict what you're going to play based on your history and based on the cards you had. As well as, I think, go to the blockchain and potentially see the team you actually submitted. There was some controversy around whether or not that was actually true. That was a long time ago. That hasn't been true in a while. But that's the reason why you don't have pre-match information anymore. I mean, shame on me for not leaving a match so I could show you. But right now, you just have their 5 most recent battles. That's it. As a content creator, that's not great. I want to know when I'm playing Aftersound, right? I want to know when I'm playing Darkest Night ahead of time. I want to know when I'm playing someone who has a really, really high rating, and then that's a big game. That creates better content. It gets you in the zone more. It creates a more competitive atmosphere. I'm sure you guys, right? If you see that you're playing me, you might get a little excited, right? You might try something new, try something cool to catch me off guard. I think it would just make a much more engaging, gameplay experience if you had more pre-battle information. Now, I don't know if the recent bot ban that's been so successful affects that at all. It would be great if it did, and they could bring back more pre-battle information. I'm just not sure if it's something that they will bring back as soon as they feel like they can, or if they forgot about it. So that's kind of why I'm mentioning that. If it's something they forgot about and they can bring it back, I would love that to be back. Okay, we have made it to number 1. The thing I would change the most about Splinterlands, and we teased it earlier with number 4, where ties don't end win streaks. I don't love how win streak based this game is. So as you guys know, as you're building your way up through the Splinterlands leagues, there is basically nothing more important than win streaks. Win streaks double the amount of rating points you earn in a match. And so if you saw on Twitter, I recently went on a 40-match win streak, and it was absurd how quickly I moved up. Now, obviously, that was a lot of luck and a lot of good fortune, a lot of good matchups, a lot of 50-50 hit or misses that went my way. So it's not repeatable. But the fact that you could win 4 out of 5 matches, right? And you lose the one in the middle. And it could potentially be better or worse from a ratings perspective if you played those same opponents and went 3 out of 5, but won 3 in a row. I don't think is smart. Here we go. This must have been a win streak here because I got the double. I just think a 3-match win streak is an arbitrary thing, and you should be rewarding more longer-term success, right? Because if I go 2 for 3 every single match in a row and I'm winning 66% of my games, that's incredible, right? And now the response could be, well, if you're going to win 66% of your games, you're probably going to have some long win streaks. No, I understand that. But the person who wins 2, loses 1, wins 2, loses 1, wins 2, loses 1, is probably one of the best Splinterlands players here. But they'll never get that win streak bonus. I just wish there was a way, and I mean there is, right? You could do the last 10 matches. You could do some sort of rolling average of win percentage as boosts or something like that. There's ways you could structure it that would sort of be less, just less extreme than just have you won 3 matches in a row. And it's just frustrating, right? Because there's a couple of times, what really sparked to this video was I was on a pretty big win streak at some point, and then I had a tie, and then it ruined my win streak. And then I just couldn't get another win streak going. I'd win 2, lose 1, lose another, win 1, lose 1, win 2, blah, blah, blah. I could never get the 3 in a row to get the boost. I think we should develop a system that rewards more sustained success over a longer period than just have you won 3 matches in a row. So there it is, my list 5 through 1. Shatter can't be repaired. Ties don't end win streaks. Less low mana in 1-attack games. I want more pre-battle information. And finally, the rating system is too win streak based. So as you can see from the list, there's nothing game breaking. There's nothing, I'm going to walk away from this game if they don't play it. This is mostly for fun, airing out some small annoyances. And I'm curious what yours are. Let me know in the comments below. What are some small things that you wish could be tweaked that aren't major, but you think would lead to a, better experience? Thank you all for being here. I hope you enjoyed the game. Not the game. I hope you enjoyed the games that I played. There were some fun battles in there. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will talk to you soon and see you around the game.